G'day guys, Das Ninja here. Today I'm going to be treating Ninja's stomach. For those that may have issues with constipation or a leaky gut, this is going to be a really good treatment for you. And Ninja's going to give us some wisdom as well. He's a raw vegan. He's been raw vegan for
11 years.
11 years now. So he knows a little bit about good health and nutrition. So we'll give you some tips and tricks along the way. But first of all, I'm going to start off. We can have a little look here at our digestive system. We've got that in the background for you. So you can get a little bit of anatomy. Our stomach actually sits right, for those who don't know, right up under our rib cage. So on Ninja here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start by treating up under his rib cage, just to get some movement. First of all, we've got our attachments of our upper abdominals. So we want to just like sink in to that. And I'm going to use this hand as like I can push in and under his rib cage, but then I can just sort of pin and sort of feel the tightness of the fascia and the density of his abs. But I want to essentially just create some flow in his stomach where our food is firstly processed. So I guess it's important. One thing that I was going to say, Ninja, is the first thing we do when we're eating our food is we've got to chew it.
Yeah.
And you're really good at eating your food pretty slowly and chewing it, and it's pretty important to do that, just to break it down, because if we're really scoffing food down and we've got large chunks, it's going to probably get stuck somewhere, and then your body's going to have to be working in overdrive to break down those really large chunks of whatever you're putting in your mouth, scoffing food and drinks and things like that. So in our stomach, if we can take the time to chew our food, to go slow, to enjoy it, it's actually going to help you if you are feeling a bit stuck, a bit constipated, you've got sore guts, you feel really crap after it, you feel bloated, you feel like, oh, I need to have a sleep because you've just scoffed all this food down. So that's one thing. So what I'm doing here is I'm sort of just getting a little deeper. How's that feel for you, man? You getting much
good,
there?
No, it's pretty good. It's therapeutic, connected.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay like right on that rib cage.
Diaphragms under
there as well.
Important.
Yeah.
So yeah, with chewing your food, so you look at it, you smell it, you bite it, and then you chew it up. So when you're chewing it up, you're creating all the saliva in your mouth to help break it down. But then it's also a connection to let the stomach know what kind of acids and things like that to start to produce to help break it down even further. So if you're kind of going slow or eating monomeals can be really good too, just eating one thing at a time. So then you can fully digest it. If you're kind of having, say, like nuts and banana or something like that, they're two really different fibers and hardness and textures. So they're different things to break down. So it's kind of confusing for the body. So you're not going to get a full processing digestion as well. And yeah, I suppose what I think about the conceptual like crossover. So you think about food is a really good thing to think about. Like you bite it off, you chew it up, you break it down into smaller particles, and you're trying to absorb the goodness and eventually clear out the things that's not pain,
Not important.
Yeah. So it's like you can transfer that over into conceptual things in your life. So a lot of times if you're not processing different things in life, it's going to have a correlation in your body. You're going to be holding onto your shit. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be constipated, things like that. And at the same time, if you're got diarrhea, say, that it's sort of, there's a correlation there as well, that you're not actually processing your food. You're not absorbing the nutrients out. So so it's sort of like that digestion, that processing of your food. There's a correlation there with processing and digesting life. So it's important to take the time to chew, bite it off, chew small bits, and to actually go through the process. Yeah.
And you even sometimes talk about the importance of eating with somebody, enjoying food, and dedicating that time as well. That's really important for our psychology and just to calm down your system and enjoy something at the end of the day at dinner.
Yeah, so there's even before we eat too,
Okay,
there's the harvesting. You know, you can, if you do have herbs or a garden or whatever, or even go in the supermarket, it can be part of the, you know, collecting the food and then cooking it, preparing it, as I do. I don't cook, but I prepare. So if you're preparing it with love, with intention, all that goes into the food too. So it's like, it is a whole process, and a lot of people do eat by themselves these days. Like we're eating on the run, we're eating at the desk, we're eating in the car. But yeah, to actually sit down and share food and to actually share stories and, you know, the wins and the losses of the day, that's a really important thing to do, is to slow down and to take that time to eat and to process as well. So yeah, that's a really important point. So slowing down is an important concept to get, because we're so busy in our life, we're so distracted. So yeah, the food that we're eating can be poisoning us, but kind of by not stopping and or being around people that we don't like or don't connect with or things like that, that can be a poison in itself, that can be toxic in itself as well. So all these different things to think about I've said it in another video as well, but to harvest the wisdom, you know, it's important that we slow down and stop in order to process and to take all the nourishment out. So of our day or our weeks or our months, our years. So yeah, we get that when we stop and slow down. So yeah, it's important.
So I'm just carrying on with my treatment. I'm going pretty slow, just like sticking to our concepts of sort of sinking in and going slow. I'm thinking moving the food from our stomach now, that's now gone into like our small intestines and things like that. And this is where our food can either become stuck, and that's where we'll feel constipated, in our small intestine. So just giving that some extra help by pushing and clearing and creating more movement in there. Ninja's sort of tuning in and maybe breathing a little bit deeper and tapping into those types of systems as well, which is just going to help to sort of be within the moment and try to take on what's happening.
Yeah, so with the small intestine, it's really long as well. It goes up and down. It's got little bends in it and things like that. So that's opportunity for things to get stuck and not move through. And it's all about a peristalsis kind of thing too. So it is an unconscious muscle that needs to push through things. So in theory, we should be able to just, you know, on an empty stomach, eat an apple and that'll go all the way through. But a lot of people, they rely on, it gets stuck in there and they rely on eat something else to push it through. So we want that peristalsis to be able to push through just one thing and it kind of goes out the other end. So it's important that this muscle, this unconscious muscle, is working really well, so we can take the nutrients out. And in the small intestine where Das is working now, that's where we kind of distribute a lot of that nourishment. It goes into our blood. It transfers across. So if the membranes in our intestines are clogged, you know, we're not going to be able to transfer through and get the nourishment into our body that we need.
And I guess that brings up a point of detoxifying, you know, not clogging, not constantly putting food in your mouth all the time, just for the sake of, I feel like I need to eat. Sometimes it's important to actually stop eating, fasting. The importance of that and just giving your body time to settle and recalibrate. It
does so much work when you stop eating. I've been experiencing fasting for over 20 years, and like there's a big psychological thing that goes along with it as well, because we're kind of, food for us can be just we just do it out of boredom, out of frustration, or just sort of out of habit, but we don't actually need it. So when you stop eating, it brings up a lot of those psychological things, those comforts that we get from food, you know, that endorphins and things like that happen when we eat. There's a big connection with that. And so when you kind of stop eating, you're going to go through those things, the withdrawals first. So what I like to think about when you stop eating, it's like shutting down a factory. So when you shut down the factory, then you can go in and you can take the machines apart and you can give it a good deep clean. And that's kind of what the body does. It goes, well, we stopped eating for a bit. I don't have to prioritize digesting food. I can actually go and do a deep clean. And so that's what's happening is you're doing a deep clean, but with that, the crimes of your past become apparent because there's discomfort when that poison, that toxin, that stuff that's gunked up in our body starts to leave. So you got to, if you kind of understand, you know, the psychology of the comforts of eating and the endorphins that are created, but also the process of detoxing is, it's actually your body's loving you because it's given the opportunity to get rid of that stuff that's stuck in your pipes and not allowing the transfer, you know. So the poisons that are in each cell, the poisons that are in the pipes, that can start to get cleared out. So going through detoxing it's a really important thing, and like I've heard it said that detoxification is more important than nourishment. Yeah. Because if you don't detox, the cells can be full, the pipes can be full, you can't actually get that transfer into your cells, into your blood, you know, that you need to kind of be able to extract, draw that nourishment out.
And it's sticking to our clean first, build second principle that we harp on here a lot.
Yeah.
And a good analogy that you explained to me one time, Ninja, was, you know, we're all pipes, right? Our legs, our arms, we're the plumbers, the body is the pipeline. So our small and large intestines are just smaller pipes, right? And they turn and they weave a bit like a snake in your stomach. And it's like a perfect opportunity for food and plaque and build up to become stuck. So that's what he's harping on, that importance of detoxification, giving your body time to break down that clogged up bit of stuff, whatever's stuck in there, gets it into our large intestines and ascending out of our colon, essentially. So that's what I'm encouraging here as well. If you are somebody that's a bit more stuck or got some built up shit going on, I guess, and I've just stuck to the left side, I'm going to do the right side as well. And how's that feel for you?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking there's lots of fascia around
it's mostly fascia.
Yeah, so we see how Darcy's working really slow still, like sticking to our philosophy of really connecting and going slow and giving my body time to receive it. And that last stroke there, I could really feel that it was actually moving some stuck. There was actually a bit of pressure, a bit of stress in there. So and that sort of was good for me to kind of experience it and have awareness that I have got stuckness in my body and just taking the time to try and clear things out. And it's not paying rent, is it?
No, it's not paying rent.
It's not like all our cells in our body that are actually us, they regenerate and they replenish, like they die off and they get replaced, they're brand new cells. But what doesn't replace is stuff like shit in our colon, plaque in our arteries, all the calcium in our joints that's kind of building up, arthritic kind of style, the stuff in our lungs, our brain. It can be metals and all sorts of different stuff, but you can actually, the body ingeniously knows how to detoxify itself and to, get back to a more optimal state where it's more pure and can do what it does. So it just magically heals itself if it's got the opportunity. A lot of times
we're trying to give it that opportunity now. We're trying to create that opportunity, encourage blood flow, encourage nourishment of new cells and oxygenated blood and all these types of factors that are gonna just get the ball rolling, get things moving, get things flowing, compared to it being stagnant and stuck.
Yeah, so to talk about digestion on a physical level even more, one of the most important things is fibre. Okay, so a lot of people don't get any fibre in their diet. They're just eating like meats and dairy and
breads, wheats, grains,
all those cooked starches,
potatoes.
Yeah, the cooked starches, they actually clog up in our body. From bread, cereal, like rice, pasta, oats, yeah.
So you got to. What do you recommend you should eat, Ninj?
If I can give people one tip, is eat more raw food.
Yeah.
So if you get eating fruit, you're eating your lettuces, different things like that, that's going to provide you with fiber. So there's soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. So you're thinking of the more green, leafy kind of stuff. That's your more solid.
Your spinaches, your broccolis,
celeries and stuff.
Celery.
That's a real broom through the body.
Yeah.
And we don't really know enough about fiber. It's like magic. It's a magic magnetic thing when it's in a raw form as well. So it really kind of pulls stuff out and cleans. It's like a physical broom through the body. So if you can eat more raw food, more salads, more fruit, nuts, sauerkrauts, your sea vegetables, you're going to have a healthier system because it's going to be cleaning out. You're going to be able to extract the nutrients out of the other food. So it's a big thing that I learned, just how good I felt when I was eating fresh raw foods compared to, say potatoes or whatever. You can actually feel the difference in your system. You feel lighter and not as heavy and tired and things when you eat.
Lethargic, fatigued. You're not meant to feel lethargic or fatigued after you eat. Maybe you're not eating the right food, or you're eating too much. You're not giving your body enough time to detoxify, to clean, to clear. That's why I think another important thing that I was going to go into next was lining your stomach first thing in the morning with something that's nutritious. So we don't have to fill our stomach firstly with oats or grains or breads. Sometimes just some apple cider vinegar or some warm water, or we like to start our morning with a cacao drink. That definitely gets our systems flowing. So just some cacao and maca, and we've got a video on that on our YouTube where we can maybe link that to you guys now. But that's probably what we're doing, isn't it? We're drinking that first thing in the morning, which is going to start our digestive system, and then we're going to clean out what we've eaten from the day before. We're going to start it all over again. So
we're still in a detoxing phase of our cycle, our biorhythm, until 12 p.m, until midday. So if you can kind of put in things that help you to detox even further, so that's generally brown things. So that's why we're into cacao, the medicinal mushrooms. It might be just things that are fibrous, even prunes and dates and things like that. They actually help you to eliminate, So we like the cacao drink, and in the video too, we're looking at how sitting really damages our digestive health as well, because it kind of kinks it up. And so we tell people about the natural squatting position and squat toilets and things like that. That helps the pipes to be open rather than jammed and kinked up. So that's what's in that other video. The
deep squat holds.
The ISO hold, but like when you actually go to the toilet as well, to actually go into a squat. So the squat toilets in Asia, they actually don't have the same digestive issues that we have in the West. Because they're really opening up the line. So it's an important thing to think about as well.
How are you going to the toilet? What movements are you doing each day? How are you sitting? What are your habits? What are your routines? You've got to look into those things, and are you constipated because of it, or is things flowing too quickly and you're the opposite? You've got diarrhea or whatever it is because maybe you're really stressed and anxious, and I don't know, your body's not absorbing the food because it's overworking in an anxious state. Your body's too stressed.
You're not giving it time. So one of the things that I realised a long time ago is we don't talk about our shit. Like, we don't talk about our literal shit, but we don't talk about our stuff. So when you start talking about the way that you're shitting, then you can kind of start to get awareness about, you know, what's the right food for you, or are you digesting life, you know, and like just on a physical level with your food, like in our large intestine where Darcy's working now, that's where we absorb all our water.
Yep.
So if we're not hydrated, maybe we're clogged in our large intestine. So all of our hydration happens pretty much through our large intestine.
Yep.
So if you can imagine, if you've got plaster in the walls of your large intestine through lots of cooked starches and dairy throughout your lifetime, you're not going to be able to absorb the water through those walls. It's just like plaster. So if you can clean that out, I experienced it through colonic irrigation, but you can do other treatments that will do similar sort of things, bentonite clay and lots of fibre. You know, there's lots of fibre kind of drinks you can have out there that really clear that out. You might notice that if you do have shit that's not kind of forming stools, logs, that you're not hydrated as well. Yeah. So clean that out, and then the water will go out of the stools into your body, and then they'll be harder stools, you know. So it can be, it can work like that. You can really improve your health, and the smell of your breath and different things like that, body odors, that the body has to find other ways to kind of eliminate things through your skin. So you might have pimples or things like that because you don't have a functioning digestive system. So you kind of start to clean things out, then other things will magically start working well again. So,
well, I guess we could wrap it up. We could talk about this sort of stuff all the time, all day. But let's wrap it up. I've got into the last part of our treatment. We've pushed the food, the crap, the build up into the large intestine. Essentially now it's going to be shit out, hopefully. So anyway, take care of your shit. If you need to come and get some treatment, book in at MMT and we'll look after you. But thanks for watching.
Done.